Hi, I'm Jill Fehrenbacher from Inhabitat.com, and I'm here today at the High Line Urban Park Project. The High Line was an elevated train track that was abandoned in the 1980s and then rediscovered again in 1999 when the internationally acclaimed photographer Joel Sternfeld did a series of photographic works documenting the High Line. In the last 5 years, it's been redesigned and it's now this beautiful urban park. What originally attracted you to the High Line project?
Well, the High Line, it has its own mythology. I mean, long before we came along. Originally, it's a post-industrial artifact with its own sense of melancholy and strange otherworldliness in the city. The opportunity to now take that and to actually make it a public landscape where people can stroll and sit and have amazing vistas and views across the city was a great opportunity.
Definitely part of the original inspiration to people around the world was that kind of wilderness in the city.
That sort of juxtaposition of this green ribbon against the grid of the city was a big impetus. The old rail tracks, the meadowscape that had self-sown and had self-grown.
Is there a particular experience you want people to have when they come up here?
And we wanted to, in the design, make sure that we have paths and seating and trash cans and lighting and water features and elements that would make this a generous and safe and secure public space, but also give people a feeling that they've come across a secret magic garden in the sky.
About the rails, I assume those are parts of the old rail, right?
The original idea 4 years ago was that this paving would literally just sit on the original ballast, and it would just bleed and blend with the existing landscape. And there were just a lot of problems with that, most notably that the structure itself had to undergo structural repair and waterproofing. So everything had to be scraped up, and we went right down to the concrete bed and then built this new landscape.
Okay.
So a lot of the historical rail tracks, when they were taken off, they were numbered and inventoried, and when they were brought back, they're back in their historical location.
Can you tell me a little bit about how the sustainable features of the High Line?
It's an extremely hostile and difficult environment to build a landscape. We have very thin soil depth, maybe 15 inches typically. There are water issues about the plants getting adequate water and nutrients. So there's a dynamic aspect to how the landscape is managed. So many of the plant species here are drawn from the prairie landscape, and they're also native to the northeast. But probably one of the biggest features is the idea of the paving, which is designed to crack open and allow the plants to come through. Also has open joints, so that when it rains, water goes through the joints, it's hollow underneath, and that water is stored and then allowed to seep slowly into the planting beds.
What's your favorite part of the High Line?
It's not that there's a favorite part, but it's that there's a favorite experience. And that is the duration of experience that it takes to walk from Gansevoort to 20th Street. You go through an amazing succession of episodes, and the choreography of that and the experience of that is really what, for me, is the most exciting and original part of this.